Hey, yo, what's up? This Disciple Marcello Currents, reign back up in this anti-Illuminati all day, anti-America all day. So this video basically is going to be about us who are leaders, spiritual leaders in the body of Christ. We are spiritual law enforcement. Now, with spiritual law enforcement, you know, I have to compare it. It's parallel to natural law enforcement. When you have natural law enforcement, basically it's like this. We enforce laws, and you know, we don't have to sit back and get judged by you. Don't worry about who I am. Don't worry about what I do. Don't worry about if I'm perfect or not. Your country has 44 states with child marriage. I'm enforcing the laws. That's it. You got gay marriage in 50 states. God is not with your country. I'm just enforcing the laws. That's all I'm doing. When the police pick you up off the streets, you don't say, by the way, are you perfect? By the way, are you doing everything right? It's ridiculous if you would ask the cops his conduct or his morals. His morals don't matter long as he ain't beating you in your head. As long as he ain't beating you in your head, as long as he ain't shooting you down and you have broke the law, then his conduct doesn't matter. Who he is does not matter. You have broken the law and you're going to prison. Bottom line. And so it's the same thing with spiritual law enforcement. And we don't have, we're never going to be perfect. See, one thing that Americans don't want to accept or they just don't have the capacity to understand. Christians are not perfect. We're not perfect. We're not ever going to be perfect. But you despise imperfect Christians, but you don't despise your imperfect humanity. Well, your president ain't perfect. Your community ain't perfect. These black people killing each other ain't perfect. These white people that still racist ain't perfect. I mean, you want me to continue on? Want me to continue on? These people that are the Hispanics and Latinos that's not involved in your American community are not important. Perfect. They're not perfect because they're not involved in your community. They rather just sit back and watch it all happen. They rather just sit back and not be involved as they should be involved. That's a form of a flaw. That's a flaw. So there's no people that are perfect here. So you're used to imperfection. You're used to imperfection. You look at the news and you see imperfection everywhere. That's the 7th hour. You look at the news, you see imperfection in your president, in your White House. You see imperfection everywhere. But yet you want to act like Christians are going to be perfect. You see pedophilia with the 44 states with child marriage. But yet you act like it's some phenomenon if religious people do it. And really it's the Catholics that's doing it, not the Christians. The Catholics and Christians are not one and the same, buddy. That's a whole different religion. It's the Catholics that were doing all this stuff to the children in the 70s and the 60s and all in the 80s and all of that. They were the ones doing all that stuff to the children, not the Christians. Now, are there Christians that probably have done something to children? I'm pretty sure there are because they're humans. Humans are going to make every type of mistake that is possible. Humans of any organization or any type of people are going to make every mistake that's known to man. Now, every man may not make mistakes known to man, but any race organization is going to make every mistake known to man. Black people making they got pedophiles among them. White people got pedophiles among them. Mexicans got pedophiles among them. Yeah, they do. Asians got pedophiles among them. Every type of people or type of humans or organizations, I'm pretty sure there's pedophiles in the Freemasons. I'm pretty sure there's pedophiles in Jehovah's Witnesses. I'm pretty sure there's pedophiles in Hinduisms and every other religion, in Islam and all other religions. Because as long as humans are in them, there's going to be every sin known to man. See, but this is how simple you are. You don't know that, what I just said right there. You don't perceive that properly to its full capacity of what I just said. So what you do is you have your picks of who's the pedophiles. Well, you listen. You look for a certain style of pedophile. You know what your style of pedophile is? I'm gonna show you what it is. Religious people and wayward, weird people and homeless people on the streets. Those three right there. If it's a homeless pedophile or some wayward, weird person that kind of is a misfit in your community, or if it's a religious pedophile, oh yeah, you go after those three. But when I tell you you got 44 states with child marriage, oh, that don't compute in your mind. Because you have esteemed the American government as holy, and it's not holy. Only God is holy. So they also are imperfect too, you know. I know you didn't think about that, did you? You didn't really think about that your American government is imperfect, have you? They are imperfect. They are very imperfect. So they're perfect? So you're telling me these politicians in the American government is perfect? They got 44 states with child marriage. They passed their last child marriage law 3 years ago. There go your imperfection right there, buddy. There go your imperfection right there. All right? There's your imperfection right there for you. All right? Okay? The real danger to everything is you. You see, everything you're trying to lie and project everyone else to be, it's you. You know what the danger is? You marrying children, putting children in harm's way. That's the danger. You know what the danger is? You just passed your last child marriage law 3 years ago, going into the future with a new child marriage law that allows adults to marry children at any age, with California being one of those states. Yeah, that's the real danger to the community. You don't need to worry about what I'm doing. You keep playing with me, you're going to be dead soon. All of you. Ain't no circus here. Ain't no circus tents here. Keep playing with the prophet of God and the man of God and you're going to be dead. Tell you like it is. You're going to be dead prematurely. We already working on it, man. Listen, you are the enemy of God, man. Listen, ain't nobody trying to hear that foolishness, man, that clown, foolish circus foolishness. You think you got me surrounded and a miracle can take you all away. No, you can't play with me. You can't play with God's people, man. Look, you can play with, you can make up all kind of cartoons. And when God comes and handle this situation, that's what he does. He sits back. God is a master strategist. He sits back long enough to let you know, once he hits you, you know you deserved it. Yeah, he let it build up. Because once he hits you, and he destroys you, you know you deserve it. Everyone that's watching know you deserve it. That's what the whole time thing is about. He could do it today. But the more times go by, you know, like I know, you deserve it. You know you deserve death. Not going to jail, you deserve death. The death penalty. See, so we're spiritual law enforcement. That's what we are. I'm spiritual law enforcement. And I'm going to give you a scripture on it too. Go Google the scripture where it says the spiritual shall judge all things, yet he is judged of no man. The spiritual shall judge all things, yet he is judged of no man. The spiritual are judges all things. He judges all things. And you know why he judges all things? Because he's able to see things clearly, precisely for what they are. You can't see things precisely for what they are. Obviously not. You can't see the American government for what it is. So we judge all things being spiritual, the spiritual people. We judge all things because God has led us into the truth through the Holy Ghost. He shows us all the truth. He shows us what things really are, and it's real. If you're not spiritual, you can't judge all things because you can't see all things properly and precisely for what they are. So that's why it's not because, oh, we're so good and perfect. It's because we're spiritual. And just because you have spiritual perception and spiritual eyes to see and spiritual ears to hear doesn't mean you're perfect either. But you're able to judge all things properly for what they really are outside of you. So it's a position. It's a position. Safe to say it's a position, right? If the spiritual judge all things, that's a position. He's able to judge all things as spiritual law enforcement. He's able to judge all things, right? Properly. And yet he's judged of no man. If the police is able to judge you according to the law and tell you you got to go to jail, you can't sit up and judge anything he does unless he breaks the law. If he's not breaking the law against you, right? You can't even go look at his life and say, well, are you breaking the law somewhere? I'm talking about a random cop that picks you up off the streets. How ridiculous would it be of you to sit up and try to wonder what he's doing? Don't worry about what I'm doing. Worry about the fact that you have broke spiritual laws in your country and that I'm law enforcement. I'm just taking you to jail. When the police come pick you up, you ain't asking them are you living right? Are you doing the right thing? It's ridiculous for you to sit up and act like you gotta see me. You ain't gotta see me. You know what you gotta see? Why your country got 44 states with child marriage in America. I'm spiritual law enforcement, buddy. I'm like a spiritual bounty hunter. And if you have been slipping, I got you. If you slipping spiritually, I got you. And I'm gonna get you. You got child marriage. Your last law was passed 3 years ago. That's how we know it's pedophilia is because it's any age of children. It's any age of children. So you can't say it's older children. You can't say it's older children because which to me, children are children. They don't. Older children don't have adult anatomy. Older children don't have adult vaginas. Older children don't have adult penises. It's still child anatomy. It's still child anatomy at the end of the day. You're playing Jedi mind tricks because you're a pedophile. At the end of the day, it's still a child. Okay? Bottom line. Why you trying to play a pedophile Jedi mind trick? You trying to play a pedophile Jedi mind trick, and it ain't working on me. You got 44 states with child marriage. You lock one man up for having sex with the same age of child, but another man gets to marry the child. You lock one man up for for having sex with the same age of child that another man marries here in America. I coined a term called a law of conflict. A law of conflict is when you have one law that contradicts the integrity and purity and character and morality of another law. You having child marriage laws is a law of conflict or laws of conflict against statutory rape, child molestation, child sex, period. You can't have child marriage laws and then lock somebody up for child molestation. You can't have child marriage laws and then lock somebody up for child molestation. Your system is done. That's what I'm here to tell you. It's a law. It's a law of conflict that conflicts against your laws of morality and character. To where how can you lock? You can't. You as far as a system of justice, it is not just to be able to lock one man up for having sex with the same age of child that another man marries. It's not just. So therefore, you don't have a justice department. well, justice is rightly understanding what is right and wrong and what is true and just. If you have a child that's being molested in a marriage, how can you lock a man up for molesting a child outside of a marriage? So it's okay to do the same things, technically speaking, long as you're married, but it's the same activity and the same details. So it's not about the fact that an adult is with a child. That's what you're telling me. That's the seventh owl. It's not about the fact that an adult is with a child. They just got to be married. That's what you're telling me. So the nature of what a pedophile is doing is not really pedophilia to you. He just got to be married. Well, that's what your laws are writing out. That's what your laws are writing out to us. That's what your laws are interpreting to me. Your laws are interpreting that as long as a child is married to an adult, it's really not pedophilia. Boom, that's the seventh owl. That's what you telling me. You telling me it's okay as long as it ain't pedophilia as long as you're married. But it's the same details. It's the same definition. All you're doing is using a Jedi mind trick, and I'm going to do a video about this. All you're doing is using a Jedi mind trick talking about child marriage. That's the Jedi mind trick, guys. The term child marriage is a Jedi mind trick. Well, you can't marry a child, can you? Well, is a child capable of handling a marriage? So you got a child hubby. Your wifey is a child, right? Why is your wifey eating at the children table at Denny's? Why is your wife eating at the child's table at IHOP? Why do your child have a high chair at the restaurants? Well, they say they can marry children at any age now with this new law passed July 1st, 2019. Hey, why is your child still going to Chuck E. Cheese? Why your wife still going to Chuck E. Cheese? And for women that marry the boys, how he gonna bring home the bacon? Hey, he can't bring home no bacon, can he? Not even on EBT or nothing. He can't even get food stamps. Hey, your hubby can't even get food stamps, man. He too young to get food stamps, man. Come on, that's a joke, man. There is no such thing as child marriage, right? It's a Jedi mind trick. That's what you got to understand. It's a Jedi mind trick that they use on you to insult your intelligence about an adult, which really is white America, a privilege for white America, an entitlement for white America, a delicacy of white America. This is what they use to hide white America marrying children. And they've been doing it since back in the day. Just found out yesterday, less than 24 hours ago, Jerry Lee Lewis, the rock star that made Great Balls of Fire, he married a 13-year-old girl. Oh yeah, go look it up. I'm gonna do a whole video on it. I can't wait to do a video on it. Since I seen the movie, I've been waiting to do a video. I can't wait. I can't wait to get to it. Because your culture sit back and didn't say nothing. You talking about Michael Jackson, let's talk about what he did. He did the same, see, this is good. Listen, he did the same thing that I'm telling you now that they're doing. They talking about what Michael Jackson did, they still talking about that. I'm sure some of these white people still talking about it. Michael Jackson didn't marry the child, so they booked him on child molestation charges. Jerry Lee Lewis did marry a child, but did the same thing that Michael Jackson was accused of with doing something with kids. But it's okay if Jerry Lee Lewis do it, long as he married the child. A Jedi mind trick. Because an adult shouldn't be with no 13-year-old girl. I don't care what you talking about. She's undeveloped. Her vagina is undeveloped. Her vagina is undeveloped. So how is she ready? How is she ready when she's undeveloped in her body and anatomy? You tell me how is she ready? Don't be mad at me. Listen, this is your facts. This is what you've done. The results are in. This is what you created in your community. Listen, you can be mad all you want. You're mad at yourself. You're mad at the truth. You're mad at that your country is really the pedophiles and you wish it would have been me. You mad? Listen, ain't no way in the world. Don't flatter your children thinking I want any of your children. I don't want none of your children. But guess who do? The American government wants your children. They want your children in 44 states with child marriage, buddy. But don't flatter your children. Ain't no child too beautiful enough ever in life to make me want them sexually. Ever. You got that? But your country's doing it, but you ain't looking their way, are you? That's why curses is coming right down the pipeline. Curses is coming right down to you, buddy. Because you can't sit up and play with me and your country's the one that's really doing it. You can't sit up and play with me. I don't care who it is. I don't care what organization it is. If you are here in America playing with me and your country is the one doing it, you're in trouble. And you're already in trouble. I'm here to tell you, spiritual prosecution is already taking place. And for people that's new to my videos, go look up my videos on spiritual prosecution. So because it goes along with this spiritual law enforcement video. You get the whole package right there. You get the whole package. Maybe I'll put a whole package of series together. Spiritual prosecution, spiritual law enforcement, so these people can understand we ain't got to be perfect. We're enforcing the laws. That's what we doing. We're enforcing the laws just like law enforcement. You don't ask the police, oh, are you perfect? Well, let's see what you're doing. Well, if you don't see anything outwardly that I'm doing and you playing with me, you're in trouble. That's the 7th hour. You're in trouble, just like you playing with the police. You don't see them doing nothing, do you? Then you're in trouble playing with them. I guarantee you'll be in trouble. Oh, you'll be in some type of trouble. Because if you don't see him doing anything outwardly and you're playing psychological games, I don't care who you belong to. You can belong to the devil's club. If you playing with me and you don't have any tangible operations or anything that I'm doing anything wrong, you don't have anything that you're talking about. You don't have no evidence of it. You don't have any tangible evidence, external evidence of anything. You're in trouble. You are in trouble. Jerry Lee Lewis married a 13-year-old girl. Did your culture say anything about that? Did your culture say anything about it? That's for all your culture and entertainment. But yet when Michael Jackson was questioned on things or did questionable things, they tried like they were trying to crucify him. Same thing with R. Kelly. They've been after R. Kelly for years. It's sport to these people. That's what you got to understand. You say, why? Because it's sport to hunt the Africans. It's sport to them. And you can tell that's their mind. They're hunters. They like to hunt. They like to conquer the beast because they feel inadequate. And many of them feel inadequate sexually. It's just the truth. So because you have a little penis, you want to go hunt bigger beasts so you can feel adequate in some type of way, because when you look at your penis, you don't feel adequate. Oh, yeah, it's true. It might not be true for everybody, but it's true for somebody. Listen, it might not be true. Listen, it might not be true for everybody, but it is true for some of them. We know how egotistical men are towards sex anyway. So you don't think none of that? You don't think he look at his penis and he feels some type of way? You don't think he look at his penis size and his ego is deflated? Not inflated, deflated. Oh, I know I'm right about it. Because men care too much about sex. You don't, as women, yeah, it might not matter to you. You don't know how egotistical men are when it comes to sex. So if he see that he has a small penis and he feels inadequate, like he can't please his wife, he has to go out and conquer the world and conquer other people and defecate all over the people that got the big penises. That's what he got to do. Well, if he ain't got no money, she ain't gonna want no man, no matter how big his penis is. That's how they do. That's how they do. They try to take the money from you so you don't look like nothing in front of your woman. That's what it's all about. But yet, hey, I'd rather be broke than have a little penis. Hey, I can change that circumstance. I can change that circumstance. Hey, you can't change having a little penis, can you? Not really. They talking about penis enlargement pills. All right, listen, come on. Let's be real. Let's be real. Let's be real about this. As of right now, they might make some type of surgery in the future. But as of right now, hey, listen, you got what you got, buddy. And egotistical as men are, you may not think this is real, but it is. That's why he's such a jerk. He's running around conquering everybody because he has a little pecker. He's mad. That's why he's so mad. Hey, you don't see men that got big penises be mad. I know it's unorthodox for me to talk about this, but it's right because it's part of reality, and therefore it needs to be talked about. Oh, so no man that has a little penis walks around unhappy because of it and conquer other people and feel and is egotistical about this situation, and ego is in the way, so he got to feel like he got to conquer other people to make himself feel better, to make up for the lack of a penis that he has. You don't think that plays no role in our communities? Come on, man. And if it does, then I can talk about it. Boom. It does. Okay? We're law enforcement. And you can think I'm tripping if you want to, but it's true. We're law enforcement. I'm spiritual law enforcement. And if you slipping, I'm going to call you on it. And you slipping. Like I said, you got Jerry Lee Lewis, and I'm going to do a video on it. Jerry Lee Lewis, Great Balls of Fire singer, married a 13-year-old girl. Probably didn't even have a period yet, probably. Maybe just had it. Right? Now y'all telling me that's right. I didn't know this. I just found this out yesterday. I'm not really into him. I never really looked him up or anything like that. I just happened to watch the movie yesterday, and in the movie, he surprised the 13-year-old girl with a marriage certificate. And she said, I'm only 13. She knew how young she was. She had enough sense to see that she was too young for marriage. That's what the movie showed. That's how I found out. The girl said, I'm only 13. See, you got to admit, man, listen, you went down the wrong, I don't care who it is, whoever put you in that situation, whether it be secret society, law enforcement, natural law enforcement, whoever put y'all in that situation to play a game of who has the best morals, they made you lose, buddy. They should have knew better than that. This is the most sexually charged country in the world. You don't think I'm going to find something on them? You trying to think about it now. That's what made y'all so stupid. You in the most sexually charged country in the world, most people would say, right? How you think I ain't gonna find nothing? Morons, man. Morons. That's all you can tell. They ain't the game you want to play. Sexual morality in America? You can't be serious. Now you got 50 states with gay marriage. How's that for your sexual morality? Because as far as God's concerned, it's sexual immorality. You got that part? And you can listen, you can have all the philosophies in life, in the world and all this, and you can make coloring books about it. You can make Disney movies about it. You can make action hero gay movies about it. They doing all of that. Wasn't Wonder Woman a lesbian, they say? The new Wonder Woman character was a lesbian. That's what I heard. I can't make this up, man. I can't make this up. Look, man, it's one thing to accept people on their on the terms that they're living. It's another thing to make philosophies to deceive us all. You're making philosophies to deceive us. The bottom line is this. If we don't reproduce, we die. I keep it 100 and keep it simple. We die if we don't reproduce. Bottom line. I don't have to say anything else. I don't have to care about, I don't have to talk about your life and what you've been through as a gay person or a lesbian. It doesn't, listen, it's irrelevant to the conversation in this situation. We're talking about if it's incorrect or not, and it's not correct if you can't reproduce as humanity. How did you get here? Lesbian as you may be, you got here because a man and a woman produced you. That's how you got here. It's common sense situations, bro. And listen, like I always say, take responsibility for your life. Don't sit up and try to deceive people. God holds you responsible for that. Yeah, why you think I'm deceiving? How I'm deceiving somebody? You're deceiving people, talking about people born this way. How they born this way when they born of a man and a woman? Come on, man. How you're born this way when other people are not born this way, obviously, because they reproduced. So you're born this way, though. You tripping. You know what you need to realize? And you don't want to accept it because you don't believe. It's spirits in the world. That's what it really is. It's all kind of spirits in the world, and they're working on the children, and they're working on the people. And you can sit up here and you can say everything else, but until you realize this reality, you're not going to be able to make total sense of it all. How some kids just be doing stuff, doing too much, and doing stuff, right? And ain't around nobody to be gay. How they gay? How they come out like that? That's spirits, man. That's spirits, and you don't want to realize it. That's spirits. Kids are doing everything. You got evil. You got kids. What's that? How the 6-year-old boy that shot the teacher? That ain't no spirit. Oh, he just grew up like that. He ain't even grown up yet. How he grew up like that? Listen, man. That boy was born 6 years ago. This human being was born 6 years ago, and he's blasting a teacher with a gun. Yo, you can't make this up. How's he formed that way? That's a spirit, and you don't want to realize it. You don't want to realize it. You don't want to accept it. You got all the cop-outs and all the side steps and all the splitting of hairs that one could have. And the bottom line is it's demonic spirits. And you don't want to hear it like that, but I don't care how old-fashioned it sounds. I don't care how it sounds. It's demonic spirits. They got all this gay stuff going on, got all these kids coming out and all of that. It ain't nothing but gay demonic spirits. That's what it is. And you don't want to hear it for what it is. And I'm not saying they possessed. They could be, but they're influenced. They're either possessed or influenced, one or the other. But I just showed you how it's not correct in humanity. A man and a woman can only reproduce. If it was correct, how come you can't reproduce then? That tells us everything. That tells us everything. I'm talking about going back to the origins of what is right and wrong by design. By design, what is right and wrong. By our makeup, what is right and wrong. by our design, how we're designed. It shows us what's right and wrong, right? Cut the foolishness. And the bottom line is this: whether you still think it's right or wrong, if we don't reproduce as humanity, we die. Doesn't get no more clear cut than that. Doesn't get no more clear cut than that, man. And so, man, the bottom line is this, man. You can sit up and play Jedi mind tricks, but your country is in trouble. Your country is in trouble, man. I'm not here to entertain you. I'm not here to be cool. You can listen, you can think I'm a cornball, but these facts ain't cornballs. Hey, these facts ain't corny. These facts is facts. Hey, you got 44 states with child marriage. What's corny about that, buddy? Ain't nothing. Hey, listen, ain't nothing corny about that, bro. Listen, ain't nothing corny about that. You could tell, you could say whatever you want to say. You could think I'm playing games. But when you got 44 states with child marriage and you passed your last child marriage law 3 years ago that allows adults to marry children at any age right here in America, I think it's your country that's corny for not knowing it and for doing it. Either one, which is whatever category you in, you're more corny than everybody. You're more corny than everybody. Listen, man. You got child marriage and none of your community knows. You got child marriage and none of your famous people know. Some people don't even know, like I didn't know. Jerry Lee Lewis, Great Balls of Fire singer, married a 13-year-old girl, man. You telling me that's right? And then people lock people up for doing the same thing. If he didn't marry her, you have to ask yourself, would he got locked? Would he have been locked up? See, listen, man, we're gonna get you all straightened out. We're gonna get you all off your high horse. You're gonna get off, all of y'all gonna get off that high horse. See, I have the right to judge things. I don't care who it is. You're hung up on, or Americans are hung up on organizations and groups. I don't care who it is. If you're a human and you're here in America and they're marrying children and you've been playing games, stalking games, accusing people of being pedophiles, you're in trouble. You got child marriage in your country. It's your country that you have been running around in that's doing it. You're a part of this country whether you accept it or not. You know how you're not a part of this country? You're literally not here. That's how you're not part of it. You can make up Jedi mind tricks talking about we're a secret society. We're not a part of America. But long as you're taking American money and American funds and you do not make it absolutely clear like I do that I'm anti-America, then you're with them. You're with them. You're trying to use a Jedi mind trick talking about we're a secret society. We was never with America. You're lying. You're a part of the culture, right or wrong. You're influencing the culture. So if you're influencing the culture and you're part of the culture, how you're not with them? You're supporting the culture. You're part of how it moves and entertaining the people here, right? So how you can say you're not part of them? You are a part of them because you're influencing, you're supporting the culture, you empower it, you make it, you design it. You create things in the culture, but yet you're not American. Make it make sense, bro. Make it make sense. You're not a part of America. No, I think you think that you could do these things and then not be a part of it. Well, we're not a part of that part. We're not a part of that. See, spiritual law enforcement is so necessary because we're showing you that, listen, you can sit up here and talk about, because this country is a big group of people saying they're part of this and they're part of that. If you're a part of America, in this case of this situation, you're a part of 44 states with child marriage. This means you either support, listen, if you're supporting this system and you're a part of them, I don't care what you say. If you're supporting them, you're a part of them. If you're in alliance with them, you're a part of all that comes with that alliance. That's why you can't be cool with everybody. You can't just work with everybody. You can't just say you're a part of being with everybody because you could be killed by association. Well, they knew you was with them too, so they got you too. They got you too. So man, listen. You talking to a man who is not even scared to die, bro. Listen, man. Would you be scared of a country with child marriage? That's a joke, man. That's a joke to a man like me. I'm talking about masters. I'm talking about real masters. You a joke. You know who's corny? People that's marrying children. You're corny. You're corny than us all. Russia ain't marrying no children. Russia is cooler than you. How you cool when you're marrying children? How's your culture cool when you have child marriage? Make it make sense, bro. We took it cool too. We took it cool. How you cool when you're marrying children, bro? Oh, I get it. You Jerry Lee Lewis. Oh, you that kind of cool. Great balls of fire. Huh. That's what kind of cool you are, ain't it? Where you marrying children and you doing rock and roll. Listen, man, listen. You ain't cool marrying no children, bro. How you riding around with a child that can't even do nothing? How you riding around with a wife that can't even do nothing? She can't do nothing if she wanted to. Listen, man, it's time. It's time. How long you thought this country was gonna last? Oh, I know you've been watching all these space movies. You thought America was gonna somehow be preserved for 1,000 more years. That's what you thought, huh? Listen, man. Half of y'all thought that America was gonna be preserved by some technology, some science lab or something, some science fiction type of situation where they gonna go on for another 30 years, 1,000 years, being preserved in some type of some cans or something. Yeah, it's a wake up of reality. Because you really been thinking about all this scientific stuff for why you going to survive for another million years. Unfortunately, man, if you really look at things for what they are, your American community has been evil from the very beginning. How long did you think it was going to last? Think about what I just said now. I need to do a video on this too. You've been evil from the very beginning. How long you thought this was going to last? All these dead people, the blood that's been spilled from Africans alone, all that blood, how long you thought this was going to last? It's just you lived in the fast lane. You live real quick, you live real fun and fast, and it's over now. That's how it works. That's how it works in a person, in an individual's life too. You can have fun, you can live fast, but you die quick. You die young. You might have had a lot of fun, indeed. But you're dying quick, though. You're going to die quick. That's how it works, man. And then you got some people, they don't really live an exciting life, but they live forever. That's all it is collectively, America, you just live fast. You live fast and you die quick and young. That's what it was. That's the best way to put it. I got to do a video about that, too. Collectively speaking, America just lived like an individual that lived fast and quick. Got quick money, fast money, you live fast and you die. It's the same principle. It's just collective. That's a 7 hour. It's the same principle. It's just collective. Oh, so it don't apply. The laws of karma does not apply collectively when you are living fast and evil and you're going to die quick and you should die quick. It doesn't apply collectively. It just applies individually. Make it make sense, bro. Listen, if you live fast and quick and you do evil, you're going to die. The Bible says, why be overly wicked? Why die before your time? That's the scripture that I'm going to have with it. When I do the message about the collective body of America dying fast as an individual that lives a fast, evil life that dies quickly. It's the same thing. It's just collectively. And that's how I know your time is short. because collectively you have just lived as an evil person that's done whatever all this. Think about it. Now you see what I'm saying? Done all they wanted to do, thought they was gonna live forever, and they're on their way to death. The Bible says, why be overly wicked? Why die before your time? And I'm paraphrasing, but it basically says, if you're overly wicked, you're going to die before your time, before the time that you should die. That's what wickedness does. That's why America is dying before the time that they should, because they're overly wicked. That's why I got to do a video about it. I got to do a video about it because see, this is a principle. This is a principle from the Word of God. So if it's being spoken and it's being said and it's a spiritual principle, you don't think it's going to happen? You don't think it can happen? The Bible says, don't be overly wicked. Why die before your time, right? I know you've heard people say it in cliches and songs and all through American culture, dying before your time. You've heard your aunties tell you that. They probably got it from the Bible. The Bible is the one that said it. Safe to say, the first one that said it. The Bible says, do not be overly wicked. Why die before your time? Which tells me if you're overly wicked, you can die before the time that is set for you to die. And so collectively speaking, also people can, if they're overly wicked collectively, they can die before their time. That's what has happened. And that's the best way to show you, that's the perfect foundational principle to show you of why it's going to happen and why you're going to die before the time. You're surprised, right? But it's time. You're too overly wicked. You're playing too many games and you think it's all good. And you just got this suicidal mentality like, well, we're going to die anyway. Well, be a child like that and you'll die tomorrow. With that mentality, you can die tomorrow. Well, we're going to die anyway. Well, you'll die tomorrow then. God doesn't play any games. You keep being relentless, which is not really relentless. You're pathetic trying to save face. Right? Keep down that road if you want to. See how much longer you'll be here. You're going to be surprised that all of this is gone and it ain't coming back. See, listen, you thought because of your technologies and all this stuff that you've made, you think that means you're going to survive. Well, how are you going to survive when you got COVID-19? All it has to do is shoot up 200 more percent and it's all over with. If COVID-19 goes up 200 more percent, it's over. It's over. I'm talking about busting through vaccinations and everything. It's already doing that. So it's just a matter of time before a strain comes that is resistance towards the vaccination. Don't you think? Well, it's already happening. There's already strains that resist the vaccination, right? There's already strains of COVID that resist the vaccination. Correct, right or wrong? They call them breakthrough cases where people actually get COVID-19 and they're fully vaccinated. So you don't think with the evolution of the COVID strains that eventually the vaccinations are not going to be of any good? See, I know you thought you won. But how you win when people still getting COVID and they vaccinated? That's why I told you, man is fallible and finite. That's the word you use. He's fallible and finite. He's not infallible and he's not infinite as you project him to be. He's fallible and finite. That's what he is. And now you see, I don't see how anyone can walk around here arrogant like they know what's going to happen. And you caused it on yourself. Who you mad at? You should be looking for the right people to destroy. That's what you should be looking for. But instead you want a convenient punching bag because you're not a man and you're not a woman. You're looking for a convenient punching bag for someone to blame for why your country is aflame. You know why your country is aflame? Because they played games with God's people. And now they got plagued for it. You don't play with us. You don't listen. You go play with thugs and gangsters and street punks. You don't play with prophets of God. You don't play with Christians. You don't play with preachers and ministers. Go play with street punks. That's what you do. You don't play with us like we some street punks. You will lose. Your whole country will lose. Now you know the difference between street punks and prophets. Do it look like I'm doing anything to you? But everything's being done, ain't it? That's what I'm saying. That's the difference. That's the difference. Yeah, you thought you was bad. See, that's what's wrong with these Americans. Spiritual law enforcement, police should have been told you this. You think you bad, don't you? You think you bad, don't you? That's what it is. That's what's motivates you. You think you bad. How can you think you bad when you got COVID-19 ravishing your community? You still think you bad, don't you? I can't wait to see the black community realize that you ain't as bad as you thought you was, are you? No, I got to tell you just like it is, because it's you that's riding around shooting and killing and smoking weed and running around killing people. You think you bad, don't you? Wait when this COVID-19, wait till it bump up 200 more percent. Wait till it bump up 200 more percent. Wait till it bump up 200 more percent. And see how bad you think you are now. Because see, I can't wait to see your face change when you realize you ain't as bad as you thought you was. I don't care about none of them neighborhoods and none of them ghettos that you have fame on. That include all the boroughs of New York, all these places in Los Angeles, Compton and Watts and all. I don't care about none of that. I want to see how bad you think you are when this COVID-19 bumps up 200 more percent. Because it's you that's killing the most. So you got to be addressed the most and like this. Yeah, that's right. That's right. You've been biased about it and we're being human about it. You're the ones causing the most death. So if you take away the race card and you being so sensitive about being black, if you take away that part, it's just you killing people. It's just you killing people. Let's just take away the race part altogether. You get what I'm trying to say? Let's take away all of that out of the equation. Now it's just you killing people. Now that makes you take responsibility instead of hiding behind the fact that you black all the time. That's all you're going to keep saying. That's a Jedi mind trick that black people use. No, let's take that out the equation. The fact that you black, you killing people. You're killing kids. You're doing it more than anybody else is doing it here in America, and you think you bad. Oh, I can prove that you think you bad. Every time somebody say something to you, you ready to fight, ain't you? Every time somebody look at you wrong, you ready to fight, ain't you? You think you bad, don't you? You know what's bad? When you don't even got to do nothing and they dying. That's bad, buddy. That's tough. I ain't even doing nothing. And look at the circus that's out there. Look at the circus that's out there. Am I out here acting like I'm bad? And people, and listen, people giving it to me and I ain't even asking for it. I ain't even saying that I'm bad. They the one saying it. You know why? Because I'm in God's kingdom and his people are the mightiest. We are the mightiest. And in the black community, you're going to thoroughly understand this before it's over. You shouldn't have played games. And see, I can differentiate because I'm educated. You got the righteous African empire and you got the wicked African empire. You don't represent the righteous Christians. You try to gather yourself to them and try to gather and get close to them. You try to gather and get close to them and it ain't working. You're not the righteous Christians that are African here in America. Okay? You got that part? Good. Because what you try to do is you try to go get gospel singers. They ain't got nothing to do with this. They can't save you. Hey, all these black gospel singers you try to go get, and these black ministers, and they can't save you. They can't speak for what you've been doing. They can't speak for the African wicked empire and be in good standing with God. See, race goes separate ways right there. That's a 7 hour. Race goes different directions right there. If you're living righteous and they living wicked, you can't go in the same direction. I don't care how black you are. I don't care how black you claim to be. If you either with God or you with the wicked African empire here in America. You cannot be over there talking about, well, we're going to get it worked out. How you going to get something worked out and they wicked? How y'all supposed to be doing something, some association and organizations together, and they have no plans of serving God? They have no plans of doing God's will. They have no plans of being about God's business, their Father's business, our Father's business. Come on, stop playing. You playing yourself, man. You listen, you ain't deceiving nobody. If they are not righteous, they are not of God's kingdom. That's why I see the Holy Ghost let me say, or help me articulate it perfectly. You have the righteous African empire and you have the wicked African empire. And you cannot merge the two. And they may be going through hell on earth, but they're going through hell on earth because they're trying to do it without God. Oh boy, that's good right there. We hit it right there. That's it. Ain't my fault you're trying to do it without God. Hey, it ain't my fault you're trying to do it without God. The Bible shows us wisdom. Wisdom is to first seek the Lord. So you trying to make somebody feel sorry for you, and you feeling sorry for yourself in a narcissistic type of way, but you ain't even following God. So how's something supposed to work out for you? God don't even feel. Do you think God feels sorry for people that don't serve him and they could be serving him? So why are you as Christians doing that? Yeah, you need to change your attitude, in other words, and you need to tell them the truth. Okay? There's two types of empires: the righteous, wicked empire and the wicked African empire. And you cannot sit here and merge the two. We're not doing the same thing. So how are we one and the same? How are we one and the same and we're not doing the same thing? And they got so arrogant that they thought they could attack the righteous empire of Africans and get away with it. Oh, you don't think I know about that? You don't think I know that the wicked African empire is attacking the righteous African empire? Oh, I'm well aware of that. See, what you didn't realize was I'm able to differentiate so that the righteous will be on my side, and that the people that are good and really want good things going for everybody, they'll be on my side. Because see, what you did was you camouflage yourself as being black. Oh yeah, you use it as a camouflage. Where we're black, who is he talking to? You know who I'm talking to? I am the African righteous empire talking to the wicked African empire. Now you see the difference. Oh yeah, I didn't lose my blackness in the process. I know you thought I did, didn't you? That's a 7 hour. Oh, you thought I lost my blackness, didn't you? Oh, you thought I lost my African nature, didn't you? How about now? How about now when I'm showing you in the community more about this community than you are? I'm showing you more than you showing them. You ain't showing them nothing. They got 44 states with child marriage. What you showing them? Come on, man, that's a joke. With all your money, is you still a joke. Walking around here like the Monopoly man. A joke, a cartoon to me. Running around here, fat cats, got money like the Monopoly man. But you got 44 states with child marriage. And you still can't explain why you're in the ghetto and all these other races are not. Although they're in poverty, you still can't explain or articulate, and have not articulated, why you're still in the ghetto and the other races are not. Have you explained it to anybody? Have you complained to the government that every other race is out the ghetto except you? So what you doing then? You ain't doing that. The ghetto experience should have been over in the 90s. The ghetto experience, some would say, should have been done with in the 70s even. So why is there still ghettos? when you got Mexican people that come here from Mexico and they broke and they go straight to some suburban type neighborhood? How do Mexicans come here and don't go to a ghetto? All those Mexicans going to a ghetto, then you would see more of them. When you see more of them, if they all were going straight to a ghetto, they have no money. Many of them are on the run. Many of them, in other words, are running from something. They have no money, right? So how did they come here and not go to a ghetto? And with all of them coming here, how come they haven't formed ghettos in America for people that come straight from Mexico on a monthly basis? That's happening on a monthly basis, you know. I know, you ain't thinking about it. It's happening on a monthly basis, and you still don't have big Mexican ghettos. Oh, you have Mexican neighborhoods, but come on. As many people that's been coming here consistently, how come you don't have Mexican ghettos all across the country? Can you explain it? You can't explain why they're not in the ghetto, but they're coming straight from Mexico with no money. You can't explain it, can you? I can explain it. You know what it is? The American government has programs for them when they come for the Mexican community. And they go straight to communities that have the American programs in them. That's what it is. And they haven't told you as the black community because they don't want you they don't want you to realize that you're still in the ghetto and they not. They don't want you to yeah, that's true. They don't want you to realize that these Mexicans are not living the ghetto experience as you still are. You're still living the ghetto experience. They don't want you to know they got programs and everything for them and help, and they ain't in the ghetto. So guess what that means? The Mexicans have to separate from us. Because if they get too close, we gonna find this out. And I found it out anyway because I got the Holy Ghost. I found it out anyway because I got the Holy Ghost. I found it out anyway because I got the Holy Ghost. How you can explain how Mexicans come over here and they don't have no money and go straight to a neighborhood that is not the ghetto. And if they were coming straight to the ghetto, it would be more of them all throughout the ghettos of America. It would be way more. It would have to be based on the consistency of how they're coming here. So where are they going then? Make it make sense. Where are they going then? They're going to American program neighborhoods. And you sit and listen, they can't get too close to you because you'll figure it out. So the white man done insinuated without saying it, stay away from them and I'll take care of you. Because y'all work and do whatever I want y'all to do. Long as y'all stay away from them, listen. Long as y'all stay away from them, we'll take care of you. And that's what they did. That's why they don't get involved in your problems. They don't get involved in black problems. You notice that? You notice they don't get involved really. Because because listen, the government is taking care of them while they work for them. You explain it any other way and make it make sense when they coming straight here broke. Make it make sense. Consistently every month they come here broke. Make it make sense. And that's what level I'm on. Just in case you thought I had some little gimmick going on with the 44 states with child marriage, just in case you thought that was a gimmick. How that's a gimmick what I just told you? I can show you why the gang banging and all of that ain't gonna stop. Because the punishments are not severe enough. You want another one? Why I do what I do? Listen. The punishments that all this gang banging and killing and stuff, you want me to tell you what the solution is? Here's another one. See, Ye West told Sway that he ain't got the answers. I got the answers though. I got the answers, Ye West. You want me to tell you what the answers are for all this gang violence and all this stuff? You want me to tell you what the answers is? Put people in jail 20 years and no chance of parole, and you would change all of this gang banging. If you do not make more severe crimes, severe punishments, if you do not make more severe punishments, right? How's it gonna stop? Explain it to me. All you're gonna be is one of those people singing that song, waiting on the world to change. You're gonna be one of them type of people. holding charities and telethons, trying to change the world through charities and telethons and famous people getting on TV. They need to do it. They need to do it. But and you telling me, you tell me who's corny. You tell me who's corny. Because you waiting on the world to change. Got this mindset that you waiting on the world change. All we need is love. You got all we need is love, people, and waiting on the world change, people. All we need is love. Every time you hear that song, you thinking about all of America. All you need is more severe punishments. That's all you need. And you'll get all the peace you need. But you're scared to do it. You want me to tell you why you're scared to do it? You're scared to do it because black people going to say you profiling. Black people going to say you doing it against them. Well, if you're doing the crimes, I probably am doing it against you. But it's not about race. It's about what you're doing. You see the difference? You're doing it, so it is addressing you. You're one of the groups of people it's addressing. Yes, because you're doing it. It ain't because you're black. It's because you're doing it. You can't use no Jedi mind tricks on me, buddy. If you're doing it, then yeah, we should give you more severe punishments. Why shouldn't we? You see what I'm saying? Now you see the Jedi mind tricks they've been doing. Black people been doing them too. They've been doing Jedi mind tricks too. And it ain't working on a man like me because I'm not a Jedi. Christians are the dark side. This is the only time we are the dark side. And it ain't evil, and I'm not making us evil in any way. Basically, we are the minority. We are the ones that are demonized because your country got gay marriage in 50 states, and us talking about it, they demonized us. They demonize you about that, which makes you dark in their eyes. So understand my logic on that. I'm not saying that we are anyway dark per se or evil. You're the Jedi who people esteem as good. America, the police, the military, all these organizations, they're the Jedi per se. Your children want to be like them. Your children want to emulate these military and police and want to be police and everything. Meanwhile, the Jedi are using Jedi mind tricks. They got 44 states with child marriage, and that's in the military is having sex with 16-year-old girls because the UCMJ program, which determines their age of consent, has the age of consent at 16 years old, which is child vagina. That's child vagina. 16 years old is child vagina. When you go and join the American military, the age of consent is at 16 years old, and that these servicemen can go and have sex with anybody, men and women that join the military. They can have sex with anybody that is 16 and up. That's your Jedi. That's your Jedi. So how can we be a part of that? We got to be the opposite of it. And that's why it feels the way it is, and that's why they're trying to make me the enemy. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying now, don't you? But the Jedi, just like Anakin said in the Revenge of the Sith, the Jedi are the ones that you need to question. The Jedi is the ones that's doing things wrong. The Jedi is the one that's marrying your children. The Jedi is the one that passed the child marriage laws 3 years ago. 3 years ago, they passed the child marriage law in a whole country that does not agree with nothing like that. That's what your Jedi has done. So why should we agree with them? Why should we try to? And you can say, and listen, you can use the other logic of the Star Wars world of the extremes. Where absolutes. Well, that's absolutes. He works in absolutes. Listen, you can't use that Jedi mind trick on me. It's not absolutes. You shouldn't be having sex with children. If I ask you if you're having sex with children, if having sex with children is right, it's a yes or no question. What you gonna tell me? In wisdom, what you gonna tell me? No, it's wrong. I don't care about history. I don't care. I care about now. I care about right now. I don't care about the past. I'm talking about now. Yes or no? Is it right or wrong? It's not. So I rest my case. Yes or no? It's not right. In the last child marriage, the last child marriage law you passed had any age of children. So you can't say, oh, well, it's older children. How you gonna say it when the new law is any age of children? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying to you. And you call that the Jedi? That's what your Jedi is doing. They now marrying any age of children, walking around, these old men walking around like they got some kind of honor and integrity. You know what? There's a quote that says, "Old men start wars and young men finish them." That's what I'm doing. I'm a young man finishing this foolishness. That's what's going on. Old men start wars. It ain't none but these old people that put these child marriage laws in place anyway. What young people would do that? What young people would do that 3 years ago? I'm pretty sure when they passed that last child marriage law 3 years ago, I'm pretty sure it was a whole bunch of old people. It wasn't no young people doing it. So young people passed the new child marriage law 3 years ago. Make it make sense, bro. Make it make sense. So make it make sense to us, right? Make it make sense. You have child marriage in your country. You got people that sit up and act like it don't mean nothing. But they ready to crucify you if you even look at a child the wrong way. If you even look at a child the wrong way, they're ready to crucify you. Listen, man. Listen, you barked up the wrong tree. You barked up the wrong tree playing with me. Okay? You got all of this going on, and you think it's a way out. How's a way out? Nobody in your community agrees with this. This is why we do not follow the ways of the Jedi. Because they sit up and they project these images of, oh, we love children. We love children. But look what they actually are doing, though. And we supposed to ignore that? Look what they've been doing to minorities this whole time. Oh, yeah, this is the facts. This is part of it. Look at what they've been doing all this whole time. Listen, man, you can't make me lose. You can't make me lose my mind. Look, listen, none of that is working, man. Listen, I done said enough already for you to lose already now. I can stop my video right now. I can stop the video right now, man. If you don't see why they losing by now, something wrong with you. Listen, man. The Jedi in your community has been playing games, and they involved all these little crazy other people into it. And you know, you can't explain why in a country where no one agrees with marrying children, nobody agrees with this. Nobody thinks this is cool. Nobody says, oh, well, you know, I've kind of felt this way. Nobody's saying that. So why they pass child marriage laws for your entire community when the community doesn't agree with it? It's just sitting there, right? For a community that does not believe in it. Make it make sense, man. And then listen, I got everybody on my side. Military, spiritual, police. How can you not be on my side? This is how we're taking over, man. Listen, with the gay marriage and everything, Christians can't go with you anymore. We got them. Christians can't go with you no more. Christians can no longer be with you. We have all your spiritual help. It's gone. all your spiritual help is gone. That's all over. And you could think I'm crazy, but listen, even if I was crazy, you still lose. You got child marriage in your country. Listen, I don't have to be sound-minded. I don't have to be, listen, why my mind got to be together? You are marrying children. Case closed, it's over. That's it. I don't have to, listen, you worrying about my mind state and you worrying about who I am ain't got nothing to do with the fact that you marrying children. It comes back to what I just said about being spiritual law enforcement. Don't worry about what I do. Don't worry about, long as I'm not breaking these laws out here, long as I'm minding my business in my apartment, long as I'm doing that, don't worry about what I do. You know what you need to worry about? The fact that we are spiritually prosecuting your country based on them having child marriage and no one knew it, your culture didn't know it, you're still surprised and shocked, you still don't believe it, you're still in denial, and we're going all the way through the process of spiritually prosecuting a country that went around playing with God's people concerning pedophilia, and then we find out they the ones marrying children. Oh, that's the whole fatal cocktail. They was sitting up here acting like everybody was pedophiles, but their own system and country. And the community is ignorant of the pedophilia, which makes you liable as a community. Well, you can't be that ignorant. You can't be that ignorant. It's one thing to be ignorant, but you cannot sit here and be that ignorant of child marriage in America, bro. The whole culture. You can't, and listen, for people that try to use that Jedi mind trick, each one teach one. Nah, I'm sorry. It's no, listen. I ain't doing stand-up comedy. Okay? I'm not doing stand-up comedy. Listen, you got the information. You can't use no Jedi mind trick. Each one teach one. This ain't no each one teach one situation. This ain't no each one teach one situation, man. How is it each one teach one situation when your whole culture, including people that go to law school, including all these college universities, none of them emerged out of that and told you about child marriage? Oh, that's an each one teach one situation where your whole culture is educated from universities, law universities, and none of them ain't emerged to tell you about this. Nah. That ignorance is a liability, buddy. You can't sit up and tell me. These people go to college. They go to college for law. And no one comes out and say, you know what I found when I was in school? I found that the American community, the American government is marrying children in 44 states. No one came and told you that out of the law schools, right? That's a liability, bro. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. All these people that went to college, that came and went, that got degrees and everything, and still ignorant of 44 states with child marriage? Still ignorant of child marriage in America? But yet, meanwhile, you're persecuting people, playing with people as if they're pedophiles. But yet people that are educated don't know this? You're telling me that's not a liability? Okay. That's how we got you, man. That's how we got you. Because you went around like John Wayne, like I like to say. You went around like John Wayne. Listen, this is part of my spiritual enforcement. I'm showing you, I'm refreshing it, I'm pulling it all together, all the things you've heard me talk about. Now in this video, as I'm talking about me being spiritual law enforcement, now you see everything that I've been saying all together compressed. Now you see I'm spiritual law enforcement. That's what's going on, buddy. You're being spiritually prosecuted. And that's what it is. And you can sit up and think what you want to think. Listen, I never claim to be perfect, but I'm getting the job done. I'm getting the job done. I got the answers. Somebody breaks the law. Ye West say told Sway he ain't got the answers. Sway interviews more people than Ye does. Who closer to having the answers? A man that interviews everybody or the person that's just sitting there? I told you I'm a master for real. He's interviewing everybody. He has more experience with humans than you do. That part. Sway has more experience with humans and information than you do. And you're arrogant enough to tell him he don't got the answers. Well, he's closer to him than you when he's interviewing more people than you are, when he's interacting with more brains and great minds than you are. He's closer to the answers than you. I got the answers. Come on, gang. I got the answers. You know, let me tell you what the answers are. If you kill innocent kids, I'm putting you in jail for 20 years. That would change the ghettos and everything overnight. That would change Chicago, Detroit, anywhere. That would change New York, all boroughs. Everybody know you getting 20 years for any senseless killings and shootings, and even them train killings that people are doing here in New York. I guarantee you, if I put you in jail for 20 years and you know that's the threat, that's the legal threat, I guarantee you all of this will change. Ain't no way this gonna change without severe punishments. That's the way it's gonna change. While you're trying to go about it socially, it ain't gonna work because you're dealing with demonic spirits too. See, you forgot about that part. Yeah, I know you say you're a Christian, Ye West. Well, that means you got to accept the fact that that your community has evil spirits. Well, you say you're a Christian. This is part of it, bro. This is part of it. They got it's evil spirits out there. How you socially gonna change that? You can't socially change it. You can't socially change it. I told y'all this ain't stand-up comedy, man. Listen, man, I can smell the corniness that you got going on. I can smell the corny anticipation of what you think I'm doing. This ain't comedy, buddy. Listen, man. I ain't making jokes, man. I ain't playing no games. In whatever direction I go in and however I switch up, being flawed and being human, I'm still hitting my marks, buddy. I'm still securing the targets. The targets are still secure. Boom. You tell me how it's not. I'm telling you how you change the ghettos overnight. I'm telling you how you change all of this country overnight. 20 years without a chance of parole. And you see, you can't let black people intimidate you. You can't let Americans intimidate you. That's too harsh. Well, you know what's else too harsh? People pushing people on trains and killing them. People killing innocent children in drive-by shootings that wasn't intended for the children. That's a little harsh, don't you think? Yeah, you having compassion for somebody that's taking people's lives and doing crazy stuff. You shouldn't, listen, man, these are grown people. How you gonna walk around trying to have compassion for somebody that's already killed innocent children and they gotta go through, listen, man, they gotta go through serious, severe punishment to change. That's the only way it's gonna change, bro. That's the only way it's gonna change. And that's what you need to know. I'm spiritual law enforcement. You don't need to be trying to check me at all. So you can keep all that Nubian African. We gonna check them as Nubian Africans. You ain't gonna check nothing. I got the Holy Ghost. I'm above your checking. And you know what you need to check? You need to check the fact that you got 44 states with child marriage in America. You got the age of consent under 18 in 40 states. You got the world record for the lowest age of consent in America at the age of 7 years old. At the age of 7 years old. That's the world record. You need to check that while you got all of that going on. Why you never had the age of consent at 18 in all 50 states. And you need to check why all this killing is going on and ain't nothing being done about it. When you gonna get around to getting to that? Instead of talking about all this stuff that the police doing. As soon as the police do something, you see them come out, don't you? But you ain't coming out when stuff happen in the hood, man. Whose intelligence are you insulting? Is that a Jedi mind trick? That the police are the only problem? So you're gonna be quiet about what that's going on over there so nobody will detect that that's the problem? Is that a Jedi mind trick that you being quiet about it? So that nobody really sees that it really is the problem? That's a Jedi mind trick, ain't it? I think so. I think I found another Jedi mind trick. Because you sitting up here talking about what the police doing when it's obvious every day somebody dying in the hood somewhere across the country. Somewhere. But yet here you are talking about isolated killings. I'm not downgrading them. I'm not trivializing any killing that a police does to anyone, but it's not comparable to the killings that happen every day in the hood. Every day. It's the same. Listen, that the people that you see on TV, there's someone like that dying every day in the hood. But you become desensitized. This word I'm using all year in 2023. You are desensitized. You are callous. You're not sensitive to the killing of your own people by your people. You're desensitized. That's the word. That's the term. That's the diagnosis. The diagnosis is you're desensitized towards the killing of your own people, when you can sit back and watch police do it and you hoop and holler like you at a funeral. You hooping and hollering like you at a funeral. It happens every day in the hood. That's what some black people saying. I know they are. Some black people saying, well, hey, that happens every day in the hood. That happens every day. But it's not a big deal when it's your own people doing it, are you? So that's your logic, that it's not a big deal, which means to me, you don't perceive that it makes it worse that it's black people killing black people. I think that makes it worse than a cop in my book, because black people knows black people suffering more than anybody else do. Black people know what black people go through more than anybody else do. Black people know the pain of being black in America more than anybody else do. So how can you turn around and do all that killing like that? A white cop is out of touch. I'm not saying it's right, but he's out of touch. She's out of touch. You're not out of touch. You see the struggle, and yet you're still killing people and you're killing children. I think being black is making it worse when you're doing the killing. And how are you desensitized to that? Listen, you're being biased. Listen, ain't no Jedi mind tricks you can use. You have been biased about the whole situation. That's what it is. You've been covering it in prayer. You've been covering it. Black ministers, you've been covering it. You've been doing all this covering and all of this, right? You've been doing all this covering. You've been doing all this covering it. Listen, where is that getting you? Now you got to start seeing, are you using insanity? Do you have a form of insanity? Expecting different results, doing the same thing, expecting different results. You're doing the same thing, expecting different results. Every time somebody kill each other, all the people say, do better. That's all y'all say. Do better. We got to do better. That's the term. That's a literal thing they say. Do better. Do better. Won't you expound on it a little more? If you got influence, won't you expound on it a little more so that you can save some of these people? Because you opening your mouth on the situation, if you're famous, these people they get influenced. You might not realize, you might have forgotten how powerful your platform is. You might have forgotten how powerful of an influence you are over the community. Because you thinking, well, it's just me. If I say it, what that got, because you're not really in touch. Some of you are not in touch with your influence that you have over people, right? And you got out of touch with it. You might have knew when you first started, but now you're kind of getting out of touch with it. Because now you done seen in the middle of you being famous that you're human too, and you thinking, well, I'm human too. Maybe I can't do nothing about it. But you still have influence. You just kind of out of it because now you're living. Your influence or your fame went to its full measure or went its full journey, and now you realize you're just as human as everybody else. So now you kind of doubting your influence because of that. But it's still influence. It's still powerful, and it still can change people. But you ain't saying nothing. Ain't nobody saying nothing, and that's a liability.